everybody. Welcome to today's coffee chat. I'm so excited that you're here. Today is part 4 of the 4-part anxiety series, and today is all about people pleasing and anxiety and the hidden cost of always saying yes. So for those of you that are new to my part of the world, welcome. My name is Jennifer Hines. I'm a certified life coach for high achieving women who look like they have it all together on the outside, but inside they're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, and totally worn out, kind of behind the scenes of their life. So today's topic is a big one. We're talking about people pleasing and how it's secretly feeding your anxiety. So you say yes when you want to say no. You replay conversations, you worry that you're going to offend somebody, or you bend over backwards to keep the peace. You're the go-to girl, the helper, the dependable one. You're always the teen mom. You're always the classroom parent, not because you want to be, but because you can't say no if you don't want to, right? And people pleasing, I always want to kind of preface this by saying, when I talk about people pleasing, I'm talking about when you say yes to things that you don't want to say yes to, or you say yes to things and it ends up impacting your mental, physical, or emotional well-being. Okay, I'm not talking about being kind, being in service, community service, any of those things. I'm talking about what happens when you continually say yes and you want to say no, and it starts to impact your sense of well-being. Okay, so let's keep going. You replay conversations over and over in your head also. So underneath the smile, and you're thinking to yourself, I can do this, but it leads to a lot of stress, resentment, and anxiety. Okay, does that sound familiar at all? So let's talk a little bit more about people pleasing. And it's not necessarily just a personality trait, it's an anxiety trigger for sure. I used to say yes to everything. Hello, thank you guys for saying hello on Instagram. It's so good to see you. I used to say yes to everything. Can you pick this up? Sure. Can you help with this project? Sure. Can you host, drive, or volunteer, cover, support, or attend? Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. Because deep down, I didn't want to disappoint anybody. I didn't want to be seen as difficult. And if I did say no, I instantly felt guilty, felt anxiety, and the urge to explain myself in a 3-paragraph apology. But here's what happened. I was exhausted, I was overwhelmed, and I was anxious all the time. And because I was living for everyone else, I was constantly abandoning myself in the process. And it wasn't just a time issue, it was an emotional energy leak for sure. And it not only impacted me, it impacted my family because I had nothing left to give them because I was giving it to everybody else and I wasn't taking care of me. So if that is you, then you're in the right place. We're going to kind of dive in and talk about this a little bit more today. So people pleasing is often rooted in fear. The fear of being disliked, the fear of rejection, the fear of being seen as selfish. So we manage other people's emotions at the expense of our own peace. It also drains your nervous system. When you're constantly scanning the room and scanning other people's emotions, anticipating their needs, anticipating their reactions, and managing others' comfort, you're living in fight or flight. Your nervous system is always wired, right? That's anxiety in action. You also start to lose the connection with yourself. Over time, you stop asking, what do I need and what do I want? Because you're so used to prioritizing what everybody else needs from you. You feel resentment, but then feel guilty for feeling resentful. You overload yourself by trying to keep everybody else happy. And then you beat yourself up when you feel depleted and frustrated. So here's the truth. Saying yes to everyone else is often a way that we avoid the discomfort of saying yes to ourselves. I'm going to say that one more time. Saying yes to everyone else is often a way that we avoid the discomfort of saying yes to ourselves. And here's what I want you to hear kind of loud and clear today. You are allowed to disappoint others in order to honor yourself. You're allowed to say no. You're allowed to pause. You're allowed to rest. You're allowed to not be the fixer. Boundaries are not selfish. They're self-preservation. Okay, they are anxiety protection. Here are 3 ways to start making this shift to saying yes less often today. Okay, it's really simple. Pause before the yes. Buy yourself time. Say, let me check my calendar and get back to you. Okay. Notice the story behind the yes. This is number 2. Ask yourself, am I doing this out of fear or obligation, or am I truly trying to be kind? And then start practicing micro boundaries. Start small. I won't be able to do that today, or that doesn't work for me right now. And then just sit in the discomfort and don't explain yourself. I promise if you just say those words and then just stand there and change pivot the conversation in another direction. You can even say something like, I won't be able to do that today, but maybe another time, if that makes it easier for you. And I promise if you just sit in that uncomfortableness, that discomfort, it will pass through you within 90 seconds. Emotions leave us within 90 seconds. It's when we don't let them move through and we automatically start making excuses as to why we can't do it, or we start people pleasing. That's what kind of keeps that negative energy in our bodies and starts to cause issues. Okay? It's okay to be uncomfortable. I promise you're strong enough to feel that and let it move through you. It's not your job to manage everyone else's emotions. Your job is to take care of you. And when you start doing that, it flows into all the other different areas of your life. It also teaches your kids, if you're a parent, that it's their job to take care of themselves too. It's their job to not turn into people pleasers, right? So you have the opportunity now as a parent, if you're a people pleaser, to kind of break that generational pattern now and show your kids a different way. If people pleasing is driving your anxiety and keeping you stuck in burnout, I'd love to help you break that cycle. Let's connect. Let's chat. I offer a free personalized life assessment session with me where we will hop on the phone and we're just going to take a look at where this pattern is showing up for you and start to create some boundaries to protect your peace. You'll leave that call with 2 to 3 things you can do right now. So just drop the word session or call in the comments or send me a DM, however we're connected, and I'll reach out to get your session scheduled. You don't have to keep saying yes to everyone else while saying no to yourself. Let's change that together. Thanks for joining me for this 4-part anxiety series. I hope that it was helpful. If you missed the first 3 and you were on my Facebook or Instagram page, you can just kind of scroll back and see them. If you're on my email list, you'll be sent out the playlist tomorrow. And I just want to thank you for joining me. Stay tuned for the next coffee chat, which will be next Wednesday at 10:30, wherever you're joining me, Eastern Standard Time on Instagram or on Facebook. And I'll see you soon. Thanks so much. Have an incredible day.